Hey guys, d-piddy here, and I have with me the Razer Raion Fightpad. First of all, before I start this, I just want to give a quick shout out to Razer and my friend MarkMan for sending this out to me. Just want to disclose that out there. They didn't send me any instructions, no talking points, nothing I shouldn't say. They basically sent this out to me to give my honest opinion about this. For those who don't know, when I compete in Tekken, I actually use a pad. I grew up playing Tekken since the first one, and you know, I'm a poor little child. I don't have any money to buy an arcade stick. So I used the default PlayStation 1 pad, and I was always used to it. I eventually got used to using an arcade stick when I got Street Fighter 4, and that's how I eventually got used to using stick. But you know, I use both pad and stick. So when Razer announced that they were making a pad that's specifically designed for fighting games, I was really excited. So Razer currently has 3 weapons of choice when it comes to fighting games. They have the Panthera Evo, they have the Panthera, which I don't have with me right now, and they also have the Raion Fightpad. So yeah, as you can see here, the blue box, this is designed for the PS4. Also, there's a PS4 logo up here, so that gives it away. But I'm pretty sure you could use this on PC just like every other fight stick that was made for PS4. You can plug it in via USB and it'll still work. So this is how the box looks. Clear image of the Raion here, and then on the back it shows a couple of features, and of course you got my dude MarkMan on the bottom. So it features Mecha Tactile 8-way D-pad. Ooh, fancy. I wonder if that means that it'll be clicky. I wonder if it's gonna be as clicky as a arcade stick. But yeah, let's go open the box and show the actual controller, you guys. We shall open up, and here you go. Nice and sleek. Look at that. I love the very minimalistic design of this box. I bet you there's nothing in here but the instructions. Watch, I bet you there's nothing else. Okay, actually there's nothing in here at all. Hold on. There we go. There's the instruction manual that kind of tells you just basic mumbo jumbo, and of course you have the Razer stickers. I think these stickers came with the other 2 arcade sticks that I got as well, but yeah, we don't need this. Yeah, nice fancy box. I'm just toss this as well. So this is the controller. Here it is right here. Let's start with the very front. You can see here the PS4 touchpad. Of course, they had to brand it with the Razer logo. You have a 6-button layout here. So obviously, I'm a Tekken player, so obviously I would be using these 4 buttons. But you know, if you play Street Fighter or other 6-button fighters, you have all 3 of them here, kind of laid out like an arcade stick. So instead of having R1 and R2 on the shoulder buttons here, you can have them up here, and then you have the PlayStation button right here in the middle, share and options / start button up here, and on the bottom you have a port for your headsets, and then this thing, this focuses here. You can actually switch the D-pad to be either the right analog stick or the left analog stick, or you can just leave it as D-pad, because in fighting games you don't usually use the D-pad to like move around the camera at all, but you do need it when you're like customizing your character, or you do need to look around some of the UI. In case you need to use it, you have a switch here which switches the D-pad to right or left analog stick. That's one thing that arcade sticks do not have. Like, you'd be playing a game on an arcade stick and then you want to, you know, customize your character. You can't switch off left and right analog sticks to like look around your custom characters. That's really cool. And then since the R1 and R2 buttons are that could be optional to be here on the face of the controller, you can actually switch off to have the top buttons be L1, L2, and R1 and R2, like how it usually is, or you can have it as L3, R3, and then L1, L2, and then the R buttons are over here. I like it. So the buttons are super clicky. It definitely gives me a nice like arcade stick feel. It's almost like playing on a mechanical keyboard. It even has like a little clickiness to them. So that's really cool. You can flick them or whatever. And then the D-pad, oh, it's also really clicky. So here is a PS4 pad. As you can see, the D-pad here uses 4-way buttons, and here is a generic PC pad, which, you know, uses a circular motion here, opposed to this beautifully designed PS4 D-pad, which uses buttons. As primarily a Tekken player, like having access to just buttons, definitely helps because Tekken usually just uses like up, down, left, right, and then like, you know, an attack button. Unless you're doing some attacks that require some diagonals like electrics or whatever. But with this, you could definitely feel the buttons when you press them. And I definitely think that'll help when I'm trying to do some inputs. I really love the clicky sound. It's nice. Talk about the top buttons. It's also very clicky. I like them. And what's great about the top buttons on the Raion opposed to like the traditional PS4 pad is the trigger buttons, L2 and R2. While the top buttons are, you know, literally just buttons, these are like, you know, they require some time to press them. And I actually like do a lot of missed inputs that I map these buttons to. So in Tekken, I map both punches on this and both kicks on this. So like 1 plus 2 and 3 plus 4 is on here. But like every time I have to press either of these, sometimes they don't come out because it takes some time to travel. Well, this, you just press ever so slightly and it'll press the button and it'll input, right? Well, this, you can't do that. You have to press it all the way down, which could be a problem. But with this, all the shoulder buttons are actually buttons. So you just press them ever so slightly and you get the input. I feel like every single button on here is like consistently the same level and requires only like the same amount of like pressure. It's nice. Oh, actually no, I think the buttons are a little more loose than the top. But yeah. So you also have a mute button and a volume button here, but you can actually lock your entire controller by pressing both the volume buttons here. And when I say lock, I mean it'll lock the share options and PlayStation button. Because some people might be mashing buttons away and you might accidentally press pause, or you might accidentally press the PlayStation button. So for those who don't compete in fighting games, if you accidentally pause the game or press the PlayStation button or interrupt the flow of the game at all, you get disqualified. So to avoid accidental disqualification, they allowed you to lock these buttons here. Oh, I just found the PC and PS4 switch. It's at the very back. So yeah, this totally works on PC. And with that said, I'm actually gonna plug this into my PC and play some Tekken to show you how well it works. All right, so we have the controller in hand and we have Tekken up. But before I start playing, I noticed something that when you plug in your headsets, the PC actually recognizes the Raion as both an output and input device. So you can literally use this as a mic when you're talking to your friends or whoever or on Discord, and obviously it recognizes it as output. And you're probably wondering, like, why are you mentioning that? That's obvious. There's a headset here. Why wouldn't it be an output? Well, if you ever stream games, you could actually just have this as your output device instead of having multiple output devices that you usually have when trying to run your stream. So just want to point that out there. So you probably noticed I'm holding the pad like a regular pad because most people who play fighting games on pad, especially with Tekken, they usually use the claw method where they press it like this as if it was an arcade stick. But I actually like it. But I actually use I pressed circle instead of X when I meant to press X because of muscle memory. Hopefully that won't bother me too much. But yeah, anyways, like I was saying, most people play like claw, like as if they were playing on an arcade stick, but actually I like using my pad like normal, I guess. So as of right now, by default, I have access to 2 R2 buttons. I mapped out 3 plus 4 on R2, so I could press R2 here, and I could press R2 here. So that's, I don't know if you could use that to an advantage at all. I don't think you can, but all right, here we go. So we got our first game. I feel like I should have tried using this on practice mode before I started playing people, but you know what they say, the best way to learn how to swim is getting thrown straight into the water. I think that's what they say. All right, so Woo! That was close.
Fight. Perfect. Fight.
Oh boy, I missed that combo. Okay. Oh, nope, nope, nope. No. Alright. So just with that match alone, I'm already having trouble with some of these buttons. Mainly because my muscle memory, by default, how my hands are placed, circle would be X and R2 would be circle. So I dropped a bunch of combos just in that match alone. So I think if you're using a pad already, and I'm assuming you use a PS4 pad, I think it's gonna take a couple of games before you get actually used to using this. So it's not just like, hey, you're using another pad and you automatically could just get a feel for it already. I think it's gonna take a while to get used to. All right, so we're facing someone of a little higher of a rank here. So my muscle memory wants me to press R2 for 4 and circle for 3, when obviously the buttons are a little lower. So I'm gonna have to move my hand a bit lower. Maybe that'll help. Let me try that. It just feels very unnatural for me to hold it so low. Okay, I didn't want to do that. And because of that, I died. Okay. So yeah, my thumb is automatically wanting to press R2, which it did, instead of circle. Oops. Also, I am mispressing my buttons here. All right.
Fight.
Oh, dead. I'm not dead. Oh, 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 oh. All right, nice. All right. Oops. Okay, cool. Well, there it is. So final thoughts of the Raion Fightpad after playing a couple of games. I think the only thing is I'm not used to it. So like I was saying, my muscle memory is wanting to press the other buttons instead of the correct buttons because of my hand placement. I think that's the only thing. I love the feel of this. It feels really good. I love the buttons way more than the regular PS4 buttons, especially the fact that my finger here doesn't have to travel so far, but my thumb my thumb wants to press the wrong buttons, and I think it's gonna take a bit to get used to. But it took me a bit to learn how to use an arcade stick when Street Fighter 4 came out, and it took me a week to learn how to use a hitbox. I think with a couple of days, I should be able to get used to this already, but I think that's about it. It feels good. The buttons feel really good. And oh, another thing that I didn't notice until after I started playing is that this is completely hardwired. Unlike the PS4 pad, you don't have to worry about desyncing your controller after a tournament. I know that's a huge thing that TOs always talk crap about, like especially on Twitter. They always complain about, you know, players not desyncing their controllers and ruining games and having to like extend the length of the tournament because they have to replay game stuff. So you plug it in, the PS4 will recognize the controller, and then when you're done, you just unplug it. Also, quick note, I did play on PC just now, and I didn't have to switch it from PS4 to PC on the back here. Another thing I noticed when playing this, which I should have mentioned earlier in the video, was that this controller feels very, very light. There is a heftiness to the PS4 controller, but for this just feels light and hollow. At the same time, it doesn't feel cheap, so that's good. I guess having a light controller is always better than having a heavy controller, but it doesn't have too much heft to it, which I'm gonna have to get used to. I have no idea what the switch is for. I didn't have to do it. I totally forgot, and it worked completely fine. Also, I just wanted to let you guys know, I didn't try any other game with this. I only tried Tekken. So the whole issue about my thumb pressing the wrong buttons may not affect you if you're playing like Street Fighter, because that uses all 6 buttons on here, opposed to Tekken that only uses 4. So if you're playing another 6-button fighter, the muscle memory might not be an issue, or maybe it will. I don't know. But overall, I would definitely recommend this if you're a pad player. But like just like me, I think it might take some time to get used to. This currently is not available in the United States or in Canada. It'll be coming out soon. I don't know when exactly. I actually just looked up the website before I started recording this, and it says North America and Canada soon, hopefully by early 2020, and it'll be retailing for $99, which is half the price of this guy. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Peace.
Ready?